One NPPTA and NABTA lock horns over lockdown operation fee for public transport. Taxi drivers must overcharge customers, says January. And dismissal of employees can take place 28 days after lockdown, says the Labour Ministry.
The Namibia Public Passenger Transport Association has criticized the Namibia Bus and Taxi Association's actions of distributing operational certificates to taxis and buses and charging them $100 and $150 respectively to operate during the COVID-19 lockdown period. An executive of the Namibia Public Passenger Transport Association, Wapingena Karaira, has called out the Namibia Bus and Taxi Association Secretary General Pendapala Nakathingo for selling an official government document to taxi and bus operators in Windhoek, saying that the association will take the matter up with law enforcement.
The people are being provided with this document. The document is a certificate issued by the Ministry of Trade and Industry, was registered under Pendapala Nakathingo, who is a NABTA Secretary General. The information that Nakathingo is alleging here does not make any sense. The government giving this document intended it to be used by the association as an industry. Now, from what is transpiring here, this document is not for sale. It is a government document, official government document. Pendapala Nakathingo have no right to sell this document to operators whatsoever. Now, according to the information provided here to the ministry, there are over 100,000 taxis and buses operating here in Namibia, which is not correct. It's false. There are over 10,000 taxis operating in emergency. False. We don't have that kind of number of taxis operating in any part of Namibia under lockdown. Now, this is a very serious matter. For someone to be provided with a document that can assist the operators and turn around and start selling it for reward. Where is this money going to?
Taxi drivers who have been issued with a certificate revealed that they were not informed as to why they are being issued operation certificates and are now demanding refunds from NABTA, saying that they are already making a loss due to the limited customers allowed on a taxi during the COVID-19 lockdown.
I don't understand this certificate which they are giving to us. As well, they can see on the roads, as taxi driver, we are suffering a lot. There's no customer on the road, and per day maybe we just used to work $100 or $150, something like that, according to the petrol. But to come to these people again, to our commander, they are just still robbing us to come in the register with this money, to come in the register with the $100 so that we can get a certificate. But this certificate which I'm holding right now, I don't understand it that why we are receiving it. Because even here it's written that transporting, logistic and storage. So like as taxi driver, we are transporting passengers. It's not a logistic or storage, something like that.
President of the Transport Association also rejected NABTA's actions and clarified that there is no fee required for an operational certificate.
You know, there's two types of permits which you need. This one, like this one. This one you can get it from the station commander, meaning it is clear indicated transporting passenger from Ketman shop to Windhoek and back. It is written, and then this is the fake one, which people they are trying to give it to the people. It is written. Do you see why I'm saying it's fake? The date it is 9. It was issued the 9th of the 4th month. But here, it was issued the 20, meaning the date from the government and it does not corresponding. And if it's the letter which have a letterhead of the government, meaning people must pay to the government. They must not pay for any individual. Do you understand? Anything which is, this is fraudulent. You see, these things is fraudulent. And I will ask anyone who get this paper, they must go and they demand their money back. Because we cannot, you see the Texas, they are already in difficult time. And you are charging them 100. For what?
In response to the allegations, Pendapala Nakathingo, Secretary General for NAPTA, says the association has long been mandated to raise its own funds as it does not receive any funds from the government budget, thus charging bus and taxi drivers an operational fee for the COVID-19 state of emergency.
I've been in this industry for more than 20 years. And what I can tell you, the taxis and buses, they are getting this certificate to go and conduct, to do business. So, and you cannot tell me I have a valid reason and know that there is no way to tell me that the taxi driver cannot afford 100. This is the reason why we say these services that are being provided by the taxis and buses is so critical and essential, because half of the Namibian people are depending on the public transportation services. And we know how much do they make from the public. One thing that you have to understand is that most of those who are complaining, they are not legitimate taxi drivers. They say NAPTA is doing illegal things. We are not doing illegal things. To them, it's illegal because we are their competitors. They are competing with us. We are doing what is required by the government. And we have been doing this. We have been striking for this so that we can make sure the transport sector has come to an order. The government is now having a very serious headache. Some of the taxi drivers, they have got no manners. And some of the unions, they are even insulting our leaders. You know, somebody insulting the president, that the state house is not there, it's his mother's house. We do not want those kind of behaviors. We want to make sure that everyone who is conducting these businesses or public businesses, they must adhere and they must have respect and they must make sure that they follow the order, especially that is being given by the government of the Republic of Namibia.
According to Nakathingo, NAPTA has also restricted traveling days for buses from Windhoek and Walfish Bay to Mondays and Thursdays only, while travels from the northern parts of the country are allowed on Sundays and Wednesdays only. This, he says, is to minimize movement around the country during the state of emergency.
I'm Kirsty van der Merwe, currently an intern in Cathedral Hospital, Surgery Department. 2 days ago I was on coronavirus call. I had to test patients and it was quite nerve-wracking for me. Please stay at home so I don't have to test you.
The Namibia Transport and Taxi Union NTTU President Werner January has advised all taxi drivers to overcharge their passengers as he believes the COVID-19 regulations on the transport industry is unreasonable.
I am hereby instructing my members to overcharge their customers wherever necessary, because how else are we going to make up for our loss? So I am asking them, whether in Katutura or wherever people going home or not, they must deliberately overcharge so that the customers can come on board and start to complain with us. There is this social distance of 1 meter, where now we understand that, okay, there must be 3 people because of the space behind to really comply. But our difficulty and the challenge was always the economic challenge now, the economic burden that is put on our people. Who is going to pay for this 1 extra seat? And now with the understanding that our people can drop someone in town, but they can't wait for customers or can't come back with customers from town. Now, all these decisions were made without consulting us, without us agreeing to these things.
January added that the transport industry, including taxi drivers, owes the union between 80 to 160 million Namibian dollars in membership fees for the 15 years of service and is preparing to challenge them in court.
I am busy coming up with an invoice for my members. This invoice is now for the protection of the union, myself, and of course, my dependents, or those that will be my beneficiaries, or whatever the case may be. There is a document that will be submitted to court very soon. And in that document, we are saying that our members, because of their non-compliance with our advices normally, they are owing the union for the past 15 years, the union and myself, between 80, we are saying 80 and 160 million Namibian dollars. And that will be broken down as we go, because the document has not been submitted. And after that document has been submitted and the order has been made by court, we will definitely come back and show the formula how we arrived at that amount. Because certainly it can be that for the past 15 years we have been working, and then we will go empty-handed to our homes once we are done here.
January further noted that the Namibia Transport and Taxi Union will no longer tolerate the bad behavior of taxi drivers going forward.
Hi, I am Kerstin Ahobes-Trisep. I am a medical intern. Africa normally draws its strength from community. I am because you are. Now we're asking the community to break the chain of transmission and stay at home. Help us save lives.
This is my wife, Gajoline. By staying at home, you ensure that my wife comes home to me.
The Labour Ministry during the COVID-19 information briefing said that the dismissal of employees can be effective 28 days after the lockdown period has ended. Advocate Vicky Atoivo, the special advisor to the Minister of Labour, has said that during the period of the lockdown, no employer can terminate the contract of an employee as this violates the labour law, and as such, an employer could be subjected to a penalty.
Anybody who has been dismissed in violation of what we just said, it's a violation of the law. It's subject to penalties. And also, if an employer had already served a notice of retrenchment to the employees, where the law requires a 4 weeks notice, that period of 4 weeks is deferred until after the lockdown. So the basic idea that we had was, in order to meaningfully negotiate, or even to come up with measures to avoid retrenchment, we have to do this in a period of time where it's possible. It's really not possible during this period of lockdown. The employers will have a more realistic view of how their business is going to go, whether it will resume operations with how many people, whether they are contemplating closing. Then a meaningful discussion of retrenchment can take place. So there will be no dismissals pursuant to a notice of retrenchment, at least until 28 days after the end of the period of lockdown. And I will add that if the parties are negotiating and they do not reach an agreement, under the law, the matter can be referred to the Labour Commissioner for an additional period of conciliation during which dismissals cannot take place.
Utoni Nuyoma, the Labour Minister, said that due to the impact of technology on the labour sector, which has replaced many of the manual skills needed in certain markets, employees should prepare themselves for the global changes in the labour market.
The labour sector will undergo fundamental changes from now on. Some people will start working from home. So as a ministry, we need to devise some strategies of retraining, reskilling, and lifelong learning measures, so that we make sure that the workers still continue to work. Those who will work from home, fine, but those ones who will be needed in other industries, because the world is changing now. We have technologies, robotics that will replace everything. Right now in advanced countries like China, people no longer carry purses, they just purchase everything, facial recognition and so on and so on. So the world is changing. So as a labor ministry, we should also be prepared so that we devise strategies together with industry of retraining our people, reskilling and lifelong learning.
According to Milka Mungunda, the CEO of the Social Security Commission, they are expecting a huge membership reduction at the Social Security in the next 3 months due to the number of retrenchments that will take place as a result of the impact of COVID-19 on the Namibian economy.
You seem to be running a temperature, doctor.
I think so, nurse.
As ek na daai smile kyk, is jy nie op 'n ander planeet wat jy upset is nie.
Nie 'n planeet nie. Cloud 9. Beste aand van my lewe.
Dis nie reg om met meisies se harte te mors nie. Veral nie iemand soos Nosi doen.
Rekoshebi. Unkatlo motseleng fela. Ritlabada. Angeke bemnandi. Pasop.
Justin is a criminal. He's the lowest kind of scum. I wouldn't let him near my dogs, let alone children.
Lesedi het jou help vlug. Daar's fout met jou ore. Ek weet nie eers wie Lesedi is nie. En as jy hier wil oorleef, onthou dit. Wil jy my op daai selfe lys sit? Gee jy enigstens om vir my?
Natuurlik gee ek vir jou om. Dis hoekom ek hier is.
Stop dan hierdie speletjie en bly weg van Lesedi af. Sy het gewen, Chris. Aanvaar dit net.
Los mekaar uit! Nou! Willem! Los! Willem! Hou op! Stop het!
In other leading stories, the Namibia Press Secretary has expressed satisfaction with Namibia retaining top position in Africa and upper-tier country status in the 2020 World Press Freedom Index. Following publication of the 2020 World Press Freedom Index, Namibia retains its position at number 23 as one of the top 25 countries in press freedom globally. Namibia also preserves the number 1 position in Africa. The World Press Freedom Index includes 180 countries, which makes the performance of Namibia remarkable. Following yet another milestone in press freedom for Namibia, the presidency reaffirms commitment to the principles of the 1991 Windhoek Declaration. In that vein, the presidency wishes to encourage journalists and media practitioners to be guided at all times by the Self-Regulatory Code of Ethics and Conduct for Namibian print, broadcast and online media, which calls inter alia for accuracy, fairness and balance in reporting. And the Swakopmund elephant translocated to Nankuse is observed to be doing well in the nature reserve. Initially, the elephant was kept in a 1-hectare temporary release pen to ensure he is healthy and released into the nature reserve on the 20th of April 2020. On the 18th of April, the bull was successfully darted, loaded and transported to Nankuse Wildlife Reserve from the Swakopmund River near the Rosamond Golf Course in a successful collaborative operation funded by Nankuse. The ministry made the decision to translocate the elephant bull because he posed a risk to human life as a result of a high number of people moving in and around the river. Furthermore, the elephant was reported frequenting the golf course, causing some damages to plants and vegetation, also posing a risk to the lives of the residents.
Welcome to Commons Corner,
your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. Due to the lack of sufficient mask supplies and the restriction of the Republic of South Africa on mask export, the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade and SME Development has identified local and capable SME manufacturing companies to produce and supply the much-needed masks in the country. Simon said that it is a good initiative to support local industries and not empowering foreigners. Sandy said Africans can do things on their own. Kazao said that she does not have a machine, but she can volunteer to make the mask. Kume said thanks to SA for banning the export of masks to give a chance to local SMEs. Mecca said Dinapama must give chance to smaller tailors. Emergency teams were called in to respond to an incident at Sevendelan in Ochamise where the body of a man was discovered in a shack. The cause of death is alleged to be the abuse of illegal drugs. Linda said young people are into drugs. Gatupahe said the parents must tell the truth as drugs are all over. Katura asked to at least respect the dead. Jake said that the area is very dangerous. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One.
Accommodation is the ability of the eye to focus on distant and near objects.
And I bring it in contact with the electroscope. What you must keep in mind is positive charge can't move. It is the negative charge that moves.
The first one, EF, is then going to be 0 minus negative 2 over 4 minus negative 4. Look at my signs. If you go wrong there, if you don't substitute in brackets, you're definitely going to get wrong answers.
A look at the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the Windhoek Met Office. Heavy storms are most likely over the southern region. The Namibia interior is sunny and hot in the northeastern and far northern regions. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot with isolated thunder showers in the northwest, the west, central plateau and south. The coast, partly cloudy and warm with showers and thunder showers over the central and southern coast. The wind, moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Now a look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.